If you're not sure it can be done, we get it. Between entry level salaries, college loans, and the desire to just be young and have fun, one may think that acquiring your house in your Gen Z years, thinking that if you can acquire your home in your Gen Z years is beyond reachable. But today, Paula Roper Bacchas gives us the scoop, and she's got 10 secrets that you can use to get it done. Paula, welcome to the show, and thank you for bringing your 10 secrets.
Thank you for having me.
All right, cool. So we're not gonna go straight into it. So before we dive into the real estate, so you graduated from NCU in 2005 with a Bachelor of Art in History and a pre-law minor along with political sciences, and then you went to UA where you did a master's in heritage studies.
That
None
is
of,
correct.
neither of which seems like it would help you to end up in real estate, but maybe how did that happen? Well, I guess maybe heritage studies could have satisfied some interest in yeah, how people were living.
I think the most help that I got was just from the experience of university life and the stressors and all that has to do, and also pre-law because we do a lot of law in real estate. I can't give you legal advice, but I do know the law.
I understand. Okay, so you did have a mix of stuff even as you were trying to figure things out, and you eventually figured it out. And real estate, it is. So you've been in the business then for is that
Eight
eight
years,
years? 8 years now,
just over 8 years. Yes,
right?
correct.
Gotta jump into it, and if you can tell me, give me your top 10 tips that the Gen Zs and maybe some millennials or maybe even a little older that still trying to make that that move. Let's start. Do you start at 1 or 10? 10 down or 1 up?
No, let's start at one up.
All right, number one.
All right. The first tip that I have for you is to get pre-qualified for your mortgage.
All right.
Number one out the bat, get pre-qualified for your mortgage.
What's that?
Know what you can afford. So if you are planning to purchase with a mortgage from the National Housing Trust or from any financial institution in Jamaica, you need to physically go into that institution and present them with your qualifications, your job letter, all the things that they require, identification, TRN, NIS, provide it to them, and they will assess your status and give you a pre-qualification letter or
Oh,
a
that gives you a sense
pre-approval
of what
letter.
you can. That gives you a
Yeah,
sense of
and
what you
that
can
will
afford.
tell you what you can afford. Number two is to have your deposit. So a lot of financial institutions in Jamaica, they will only give you 90 to 95% of the value of the property. So you will have to come up with the difference. So if they're giving you 90% of the cost of the home, you would need to come up with your 10%. So example, 10 million, you would have to come up with your $1 million.
Right. Okay. So get pre-qualified. Have your deposit. What's the third thing?
Number three, do your research.
Hmm.
Know what properties are selling in the area that you want to purchase in.
Right.
So if you want to purchase, let's say, a house in Portmore, do your research to know what houses in Portmore are selling for. Go to the bank, see if you can get that amount. If possible, you can have your deposit for that amount. So let's say right now a house in Portmore is going for between 15 to 18 million. So you would have to have that 1.5 or that 1.8 million as your deposit.
This is Engage, is your drive time entertainment choice right here on the family station Love 101. And we're talking with real estate agent Paula Roper Bacchas, and she's giving us her top 10 secrets for getting it done. That is buying that place. And she started out, gave us 3 so far. Get pre qualified, have your deposit ready, do your research is where we last ended. And now we go to number 4.
Number 4 is to contact a licensed real estate professional.
Right.
Contact someone who is licensed to practice
Yes.
real estate.
And people can know if you're licensed how?
Okay, so the Real Estate Board of Jamaica has a website. It's at www.reb.gov.jm.
Right. And then you
So
can go
if
there.
you go into Google and you put it into your Google search, Real Estate Board of Jamaica, it will come up. And then all you have to do is to go to the tab at the top where it says salesman or dealers. You go down, you click on that, and a search bar will come up. You put in the name of the person, and they'll come up. Their license should come up. If their license does not come up, doesn't mean that they're not licensed. So you can contact the board directly by phone and check. If they say they're not licensed, then they're not licensed.
Got it. All right. And number 5.
Number 5 is to stay within your budget. I
Mm.
know that is difficult for a lot of Jamaicans to do, but once they are pre-qualified, and let's say that they're pre-qualified for less than that they thought they would have been, a lot of them like to look outside of that budget and tell us that, oh, we'll get the money some way somehow. When you're buying a house, you should stay within your budget.
So, but most Gen Zs, and we would have made a point earlier that maybe the oldest Gen Z is about 26 now. What kind of consideration? Because maybe they're not necessarily thinking about buying a house. So this is probably like preparation for when you do. But even as a real estate agent and what you've known, what you know so far in your career, would you advise that people buy a house early?
The earlier, the better. If you can buy it at 20, I would buy it at 20. If I could buy
But
it
you're
at 10,
unlikely to have that kind of money. The average millennial is sorry, the average Gen Z is unlikely to have the kind of money that they can buy a home. I mean, maybe
all
it's
right.
less.
So listen to this now. Houses in your life will be the cheapest they are right now. If you're looking in the market, they'll be the cheapest that they will ever be, possibly right now. So if you're, let's say you're 25 and you can buy a starter home, I call them a starter home, I would say do it. If it's not even in your desired location, I would say do it, because in 5 years you'd have, maybe advanced in your career, and you are making way more money than you were making 5 years ago,
When
and
you
you
acquire
can
the house,
sell
right?
that house and you can buy up.
Got
So
it.
if
Got it.
you
So
if
that's
you
one way.
can buy something, like, remember, especially the NHT, they give you the repayment by your age. So if you are 25, they go up to 60, sometimes 70 years old, depending. So a
Oh, so you
man,
can have
I
a
think,
much
could go,
longer,
yes. So
and
the
therefore your
payment will
premium is
be
small.
way less.
Got it.
Correct.
Got it. Right. That's what we
Correct.
do. All right. So let's take number 6 as we head into the second half of the tips.
Number 6 is location, location, location. So I always say to buy in the best location you can afford.
All right.
Don't buy in substandard locations. That's my only thing. If you can only afford a very quote unquote not a nice location, I would say maybe skip that property, but buy in the best location you can afford.
All right. Number 7.
Number 7 is don't sweat the small stuff. So if you go into a home, it's in a good location, all the other boxes are ticked, and the house is not necessarily in the condition that you like, don't worry about it. You can fix it. If it has wallpaper, some ugly colors, whatever, you can fix those things. So I said, don't sweat the small stuff.
Brilliant. Number 8.
Number 8 is um playing off of number 7, is not to buy in a bad location. And all of us know the bad locations, and as it pertains to community, but there's 3 things I want you also to take into note. Never buy on a main road. Never buy like where your house is situated, where it's exposed, then where you can be open to noise pollution, violence, like robberies and stuff. Houses that are tend to be on the main roads tend to be more open to violence, and they are very difficult to sell back.
Got it. Okay. Number 9.
Number 9 is never over improve for your location. So everybody knows that community where there's this beautiful house that's far outweighs all the other houses in the community. Never be that house.
Wow.
Always try to stay in the middle area of the community. Let's say the community is a $40 million community. Don't put a $80 million house in a $40 million community, because you're never going to see that money back. No
Got,
one is going to buy the best house in the community or pay that amount.
got it. And number 10.
Always think resale.
Ah,
Always think about selling the house back, even if it is your first house. Always think that come 10 years from now or five, the average, I don't have the stats for Jamaica, but in America, the average years that persons hold on to houses for now is for between 5 to around 7 years. So always think resale. Think that you're gonna sell this house at some point. You might migrate, you might want to just change the community that you live in, you might move to another part of Jamaica. However, whatever you decide to do, always think that this house has to be sold back. So when you're doing improvements to it, always do it with a mindset that it will be sold.
all right. Thank you so much, Paula Roper Bacchas, a licensed
You're
real estate agent, sharing with us her 10 tips for getting that house. Have a good one, Paula.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.